Welcome to Charts Today Energy. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 12th of November, comes to you from London. We're seeing the energy mix mostly up on stronger crude this morning, but just taking a look at the macro picture, we're seeing the dollar making 17-month highs, so that's bullish all round. Having a real impact this morning on the euro, hitting 17-month lows. And we are now activating a downside target to below parity. So Euro weak, dollar strong is really the major theme that we expect to see going into the coming months. And we're seeing the dollar strong against the yen on all three time frames, and sterling actually now looking weaker against the dollar on Brexit uncertainty. Remembering this is my long term, my medium term, and my short term position. Taking a look at sterling against the euro, seeing sterling weaker here shorter term as well. So really sterling the weaker of the two against the Swiss franc falling away back below the 130 mark. So looking weaker here as well. And against the Aussie dollar actually lower. US stock markets were down on Friday. That's created a mixed picture in Europe this morning. We're seeing the FTSE up 1/3%, strong on commodity stocks, and the DAX down 0.7%. And gold actually looking weaker on that short-term chart on the strong dollar. Taking a look at Brent crude, we see we're up 1.6%. We were up 2% at one stage this morning. Here we see this morning's move on the 1-minute chart, and then we're pushing back lower. We have activated upside targets to 72.60 and 74.10. So that is a relief rally. We saw this target was given on Friday to 71.96. We've kind of gone near there. We still do have these downside targets hanging over us below $70, and of course we were below $70 on Friday. So we saw that, but we are still short-term bearish, medium-term bearish. The correlation with the dollar actually on the short-term chart just turning positive. We're rising on that strong dollar this morning, which is unusual, but the medium-term correlation against the dollar is actually still negative, as we would expect. So crude, despite the jump this morning, is still in those short-term trends, although we've got some quite good short-term upside targets. The same for WTI, some quite good short-term upside targets. But notice how this move this morning has just really evaporated, and we're now about 1%. We were up in the nearly 2% this morning at the open, so we're just pushing lower there. US NatGas continues to push much higher, up another 2% at $3.79, making multi-year highs now, NatGas, so looking very strong indeed. We've got this upside target still of 410 on the 60-minute chart to aim for. So US gas just looking very strong there. Heating oil following crude as we would expect, very similar looking charts there, and RBOB still in a short-term downtrend, and whilst we've got some upside targets, we are just seeing that rise as well, evaporating away. Coal prices back above $90 on API2, so looking a little bit better than we were on Friday, but we're seeing quite a lot of volatility in the coal price. Remembering this is data from Thomson Reuters Icon. If you're running on Trayport, you'll be seeing more liquidity in the screen, so slightly better data. Richards Bay sitting at $92, so looking okay there as well, but falling away. And emissions this morning up a massive 5%, so really recovering and pushing higher. And so looking like a resurgence in the emissions price and pushing us back into bullish territory. No clear targets on emissions, so that's making it a bit harder to call. NBP up sharply as well this morning. We're seeing gas prices really surging, and we do have this upside target which has been in train since last Thursday, 71.80. We're not quite there at the moment. We've got a new target, 79.70. And so we are seeing gas prices looking much stronger. And looking at TTF, we're seeing the same. If we look here, and of course that stronger crude price this morning really helping, but really massive jumps there in the price. Again, upside targets that are not yet activated, so making it just a little bit hard to call. German gas, we saw on Friday last week had a fairly turbulent week, and Italian gas as well. also pushing higher. But NBP and TTF really the big story. That's also created a big surge in German power prices. We've got a new upside target of 58.50, so that's also looking much stronger. And French power also pushing higher, as is Nordic power. So we're seeing markets across the board there just looking much higher. Uh, Dutch power also looking higher, and Czech power up 3% as well. Polish power not really following through, and Italian power on Friday looking weaker, and Spanish power obviously lost a lot less liquid. On these Reuters prices, um, still just holding its bullish stance. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.